Hey, D Racers. So we're here for the second matchup of Tug of War. This one I'm personally very excited because it is our team, the D Racers Elite versus Fashbinder. What's awesome about this matchup is that these are the two teams, the only two teams that have ever walked away with the champion trophy from a Dirk Army event. So between these two clubs, you have probably a combined 1 million race entries. These are some of the most active horses in the game, some of the most dominant horses in the game that you're going to be able to recognize the names in this event.
Now that may feel like it was ages ago though, right? Because that was 2022, right? It's 2023 now. We're almost halfway through this entire year, and we haven't really had a good teams competition in a while. So we're looking forward to some of the old veterans getting back out on the track and seeing how they compete against each other.
That's right. Now, the first race is in about 3 minutes. So going into this one, let's talk about a little bit of the roster here. Team Fashbinder is coming to the event with one single A of their 15 competition horses. They have 9 classification Bs and they have 5 class Cs. Now, with them combined, they have 11,388 runs. So these are extremely veteran horses. On the D Racers Elite, we have 3 As, we have 5 Bs, but we have 7 Cs, and with a combined race experience of 6,537. So obviously the Fashbinders, they have an edge with the experience and having that solid rankings.
Yeah,
But
you're gonna
yeah,
recognize a lot of the names here from the Fashbinder team, especially. I mean, you're gonna recognize a lot of ours, but some of these horses on Team Fashbinder have, you know, 5 digits worth of races. So it's pretty impressive.
absolutely. Now, of course, we wanted to take this down to see who do we think is going to win. So as we break down some of these numbers, we took the average win rate because, of course, there's the average time that we're going to be focusing on for the scoring. But being that these horses are all profitable, they all like to win, we wanted to see what the average win rates were. On Team Fashbinder, the average win rate of the horse is 12.44%. With DE, it's 12.85%. So very, very impressive numbers on both sides of the spectrum, but there is, again, a slight advantage to DE. But this is the part that gets me so excited for this. Got 2 minutes left. Is that when we took all 50 furlongs, because this race, when you add up all of the 5 races, it is a 50 furlong event. And when you take the 6 horses, 3 on each side, you're talking about 300 total furlongs ran. The difference between the two teams was only 0.781 seconds. So when we take the average paces of both these teams, these are razor thin. So today it's really going to be a close one to call. I'm very excited to see how this is. Fash, yeah, seriously, good point on here. Fash saying like he's hoping that Na or NA is not in his form. If one donkey trot is ran and there's like a 4-second lag, it's going to be very consequential. So yeah, today you have a lot of solid horses. I don't think you're going to see too many big mishaps, but RNG can be a bitch.
All right. Do you want to start jumping in and looking at who we got in the first race, or do you want
Yeah.
to continue to set this up a little bit?
No,
Um,
I'm refreshing to make sure the time's right.
all right. So the first matchup that we've got here is a dirt 14 furlong. Now, this obviously dirt takes a lot of stamina. 14 furlongs takes a lot of stamina. So this is going to be a long race, but there's some very recognizable horses here, and I'll let you talk about some of those.
Well, the one that I wanted to focus on as we got 1 minute left is Lolita. So Lolita on Team Fashbinder, I think, is going to be the one that's going to be very interesting to see. It has the lowest win rate, but this horse is dominating dirt everywhere it is. So I think that's going to be an interesting one. But lane 5 is the D Racers Bonsai. It is an A ranking, and this horse is a monster on this track with a near 16% win rate. So that one, in my opinion, is going to be the one to watch. But if Lolita shows up on this one, it's going to be pretty impressive. So bringing here, we got 20 seconds. Anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I mean, for me, again, Lolita is that wild card here. You saw that the DE has 2 A-rated horses, G Spot and Bonsai. Those horses should do well here. So let's see what happens.
Yes, we got. You go ahead and mute it. spot is interesting. G Spot and Hungry Eyes are DE horses, still not a big gap. We got a long ways to go. Now, something that's kind of scary from DE perspective, Hungry Eyes is one of our strongest horses. So trailing at that 2.7, we're going to need that to close. Hungry Eyes is a strong stamina horse, but that 2.7 hurts quite a bit. Though it is nice to see G Spot working its way towards the top, Fashbinder climbing up from the rear. Still quite a close race. Nice job with Fashbinder's team on that one. Do you got the scores already scraped on this?
Yeah, I do. This is absolutely incredible. Let me share this real quick here. A 1.172 second differential, Team Fashbinder with the 52 to 47% lead here. But what I was most amazed by was that we talked about Lolita having a chance and being a wild card here, but just didn't show up against Bonsai. But Droma and that lead was amazing.
That was a huge win for Team Fashbinder. To be able to upset 2 A's is an enormous victory. But yeah, absolutely. On this next one, we got about 1 minute and 20 seconds. This is going to be a 7 furlong on a synth that we're looking at. So this one, this was a toss-up where I would have bet that this first round would have gone heavily towards D-Racers. So on this next one, it's hard to tell. We got the D-Racers Elite that run a better average pace combined. The team pulls in at 257.593 seconds, whereas compared to Fashbinder, they're at 257.672. So we're only talking about hundreds of milliseconds. Now, when it comes to the win rates, TE averages around 11.31% to Fashbinder's 13.44. So this makes me think that standard deviation is a little bit wider on the Fashbinders team here, which of course, as we know, if you go on a lower limit 1 or 2, they're going to get a really good pace. But if they throw an upper limit 1 or 2, traditionally that will just hurt them a bit more. So it's going to be an interesting one to see on this between the teams as well.
Let's go ahead and load up that other screen and we'll take a look at that. Right now we've got the 3 Bs of Team Fashbinder that's looking real strong here, in my opinion. But yeah. I think this one's going to come down to who's in 4th, 5th, 6th place.
Sunwin with the steal. Glad to see both my Skondert and Polar Express made it to the top. Fun fact, Gordwiza, unfortunately, pulling that sixth lane or the sixth spot. That is also one of the parents of that one. So that was a fun family battle to work out. But on this one, you got DE scoring second, third, and fourth. I have to assume that did a favorable move on the points.
Yeah, I mean, Sunwin needed that to pull that off and get into the lead there with almost 1,900 races on that track. It's impressive. But yeah, we've got a full swing the other direction with DE now leading by 2.6 seconds, a full 7.5% increase in the Tug of War to the right.
Man. Now, on this next battle that we've got going in there, we have 2.5 minutes coming in. This is going to be a 2 furlong on dirt. So these ones are a little bit obviously more of a crapshoot. When we break down some of the stats, take a look at these guys we got. So when we take a look at this one, the D-Racers Elite average is 76.016 to the Fashbinder 76.148. So again, we're looking at about 100 milliseconds difference again. Again, we're looking at Fashbinder with a higher win percentage of 12.71 to DE's 11.29. Something that I want to bring up on this one is a horse that I think is going to be one to watch and one to beat is going to be the number 2, Frois Valios, with 1,366 runs. That horse has maintained a 13.25% win rate. So this one obviously is very good on twos.
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about that type of quantity, obviously it does, it's huge to have that high of a win percentage. But I also have to point out that 2 furlong races are like nearly impossible to pick, right? It all comes down to how well they jump out the gate. There's not a lot of closing that occurs. Some horses have that capability on the 2 furlong, but for the most part, it's about who gets out front early and maintains. So at this point, yeah, I think, Team Fashbinder having a couple of horses here that have well over 1,300 races each on this particular track tells me that they're good at that particular track. So I have to believe that lane 1 or 2 here is going to be the ones that take it.
Yeah, I would probably agree with you on this one. On lane 5 is probably going to be DE's best chance. That's Mr. Fahrenheit. That horse is a rated B with 1,254 runs, so it obviously runs that one aggressively. We got the C-Word and Cesla V in 3 and 4. So DE is 3, 4, and 5, where Fashbinder is 1, 2, and 6. Some of these names like Peter Parker, that's one of the most ran horses in the game. That horse is a ranked a B, Frorise is a B, and Need for Speed is a C. So you got 2 Bs and a C on Fashbinder versus 2 Cs and a B of DE. So on this one, I would be probably betting towards Fashbinder having a stronger edge.
I agree, though, just like on the last race, what we saw happen with us taking 2, 3, 4, that's huge, obviously. Winning is great, but you got to have all of those top spots to do your best.
Absolutely. Went basically exactly as I expected. Fashbinder took all top 3 positions. So major points for them on the podium perspective. That cluster towards the back seemed to be pretty tight, and being 2 furlongs, I'm going to take a guess it didn't have that large of an impact.
It actually swung at 3.7%, which brings it under a second differential here. We're at 3/4 of a second separating the two teams after 3 races, which is kind of what we expected here. It's perfectly on par with what was expected. That still means D-Racers Elite has a slight edge, but 0.76 seconds is not hard to make up. So
yeah,
we'll see.
It's pretty incredible how this is working out. Like I said, I think it's one single donkey trot away from just butchering this. We haven't seen any horse really trailing too much. Even when we've had a strong pull, like in Skondert had that, Sunwind closed that gap. So everything has seemed to be fairly well rivaled. Now we got 3 minutes going into this next one. And let's see, this race number 4 is a 14 furlong race. So we're looking at near 3 minutes of battling. This is one of those ones where I suspect as more strategy of Tug of War starts to appear, I think longer range races are going to be the ones where you're going to need to put your focus or your best horses, because you cannot afford to have a 5-second trail off that first place horse.
Well, let's talk about the fact that we've got a brand new rookie in this one. Noodle Shop Market here is an A ranking, but has only run, what is it, like 27 races or something like that. So yes. This is a very rookie horse here going up against some pretty good horses for Team Fashbinder.
Yeah, I would say, like, well, right now, like you said, Noodle Shop, that's horse 27 runs is maintaining an 18.52% win rate, which is unbelievably good. Now, equally good, even though it's a little bit less, or probably even better, is when you look at Plum on Fashbinder. This horse has 645 runs and has maintained a 16.12% win rate. So Plum obviously likes to run fast on these tracks. And then when you take a look at the remaining teams of DE, this is looking a little bit more favorable. They have a C, both of them are Cs, Rolling Thunder and the Juicer. Even though they're ranked Cs, their average paces is very fast on this track. When you take Fashbinder, they do have a higher, or on average, they have some high scoring horses with a lot of experience, but their average pace is slower. So DE has a higher favorable average pace and win rate going into this battle, yet Fashbinder is bringing Plum, who I think is the best contender to take the first place position.
Yeah, and Plum's in that lane 6 here, so that's the one that I definitely think we need to pay attention to, see how far out in front it gets, if it can maintain that. And then, I mean, I tell people this all the time when they talk about turf in particular. This is a 14 furlong. There's a lot. I tell people that 11 through 15 on turf is basically winnable by just about every horse. It is the tightest variance that we see. Most horses are within, a couple of tenths of or hundredths actually of the average pace when you look at these long distance turf tracks, and it takes the least amount of stamina. So any of these horses could have a great jump, get a bunch of really good rolls, and ends up on the podium here. So I'm very curious to see how it shakes out. I think this being the penultimate race is going to be huge. And we're just going to have to make sure to see who brings up the latter half of this race.
Yeah, this one's going to carry a lot of weight because we're looking at a 14 furlong in the final race. On race number 5, we're looking at a 13 furlong. And right now, unlike the game between Prospects and Gavois, by this stage of the game, there was such a large deficit. It was pretty obvious that the Prospects were going to win. Right here, it's still too hard to decide. Even if one team has a commanding victory, having a 13 furlong following this is going to be equally difficult.
Yep.
And just to let everybody know, in lane 1, 2, and 5 is DE. In lanes 3, 4, and 6 is Fashbinder. Keep in mind right here, this momentum falling behind by the 3.2. If that doesn't close quickly, that's going to be very concerning for Fashbinder, considering how tight this pile is getting.
Wow.
That was hard to not even just, that was great. Fantastic run. Desert Storm was falling back in the beginning, but what a comeback there. Great win. But geez, those 5 horses were tight, all within a second.
Yeah, I couldn't have told you which one I thought was going to have it. I thought for sure the Juicer was going to have it and ends up in 5th place. So that sort of thing is just mind blowing. But let's take a look at what it's done to the Tug of War board here. Oh, wow. So we gained 2%, which is just, 1 second across all 6 horses running a full 14 furlongs. We only gain about a second on that entirety of the event. So right now, DE has a 1.8 second lead going into this final race.
Yeah, in this final race is going to be an exciting one. It's extremely, again, like every single one has been, is going to be a very tight lineup. So when I take a look at some of the stuff we have here, D-Racers Elite has the average higher win rate at 14.14%. You'll notice that Fash has an A, a B, and a C, and we have 2 Bs and a C. So pretty well evenly split. The 2 horses I think to watch for is going to be Lane 4, which is Clone Per. So if I bring this guy back around here, so we got Clone Per in Lane 4, which is a B, and it has a 15.9% win rate with 195 runs. But then Burgles is in Lane 5, is an A. It's the only A in this matchup with 15.94% win rate. So we got 2 15s going out there that are only 4 100s apart. I mean, that's incredible. 138 races. So
this is going to come down to, for sure, who's in the 3 and 4 spots, right? Like, it's the top 2 spots are going to be close. Let's see how it all shakes out.
We're only talking 1.8 seconds. And the DE is in lanes 1, 2, and 4. Fashbinders 3, 5, and 6. D-Racers Elite securing 1, 2, and 4 all on the podium. That's, I'm guessing, is an obvious win.
No, we're actually 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I mean, the 1, 2, and 4 horses being DE all securing the podium.
Yeah, sorry. I thought you were saying first, second, fourth.
Yeah, Demon Trainer, unfortunately, I know that horse is a fast one out there. That thing seemed to slip behind. But how are we looking with the final scores?
I think, like you just said, a Demon Trainer falling back by 4 some seconds is just destroyed this time. So this is what we're looking at here: a full 8 seconds gained, 13% to the D-Racers Elite side, resulted in a 66.83% tug to the right-hand side.
All right, so congratulations to the D-Racers Elite, Fashbinder, and the guys, dude. Awesome job. That was a fantastic lineup. Hopefully, we're going to get more teams out here. We're going to be seeing Usain Colt versus D-Gen. And the hope is we're going to get a couple more teams to establish the first wins, losses, and then kind of we'll do a secondary battle to then establish a ranking system. So we'll be able to hopefully have a lot more rematches. So we'll be looking forward to another rematch with Fashbinder. Each time we do a throwdown, we'll do a full randomization, so they'll never be the same tracks. But fantastic races out there, guys. And congrats to DE. And thank you all for supporting us and watching.
Really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.